This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 o'clock, drivers getting ready for a massive headache. We are live as we prepare for the first morning commute since the I-465 closure on the city's southeast side. And getting your kids a jump start on their future career. Just ahead in Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career, the program helping students launch a design and advertising career. And heartbreak on the West Coast for the Indianapolis Colts. We are breaking down the tough loss for the boys in blue and what's next as they turn their attention to week 2. It is 6 o'clock on your Monday morning. You might have a hard time waking up this morning. NFL season officially in full swing. A lot of people up late last night watching the games, Todd. The good news is, though, we have great weather to kick off our work week.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are saying, it feels like football temperatures over the weekend, Purdue, and I was down at the IU game. Well, it's going to start to feel more like summer-like temperatures here as we work our way throughout the course of the week, as we are going to get a good push of some really warm temperatures coming in here over the next few days, and today is kind of that transition into that summertime warm. So what do you need to grab before you go this morning? Well, grab the sunglasses. You'll need those with partly cloudy skies throughout the day today, and a couple of you may need a light jacket, especially for those of you who live in northern locations. Your temperatures are in the 50s this morning. Everybody else is in the 60s, and temperatures from this point forward will not drop off much more throughout the course of the morning. So if you walk out the door and you think you're fine, you'll be fine here throughout the day today, because with some clouds increasing, those temperatures will hold pretty steady. Few spotty showers there in extreme northern Indiana, and it's not out of the question our northern third of the state could see a stray shower or two that sneaks in here. If you do see that, it would be very light. It would be very brief. From Indianapolis to the south, we should remain completely dry. So as you get out the door this morning, we're talking about temperatures by the noon hour in the mid-70s with partly cloudy skies. Meredith?
Todd, thank you. As you head out the door for your morning commute, we have an important reminder for East Side 465 commuters. I-465 between I-70 and I-65 is closed. So if this is the way that you normally take, you're going to need to find a detour. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, you've got everything drivers need to know.
That's right, Meredith. And the number one thing that they should know is they should give themselves extra time this morning. Drivers who usually use this route, there are some detour routes available, but those are also expected to be very busy as you head out for your morning commute. This is the second major 465 closure this summer. The last one just finished up at the end of August when the eastbound and northbound lanes were closed in the same stretch. This time, it's the southbound and westbound lanes that are closed. The shutdown started on Friday and will last for about 2 weeks. The official interstate detour follows I-70 and I-65 through downtown Indianapolis. Through traffic is encouraged to follow 465 northbound and eastbound to avoid delays. INDOT is expecting heavy traffic and long delays along 465 from I-69 to I-70 approaching the closure, especially during these peak commute hours this morning. So drivers should expect those delays to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, depending on when they are getting on the road this morning. So as you head out, definitely give yourself some extra time. The good news is we have these crews that have already started the work. You can see them right behind me. They have been out here since we've been out here this morning. So that is the good news. This project is in progress and expected to be finished by September 21st. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The Nike swoosh, Chanel C's, these are pretty recognizable company logos, and students at J. Everett Light Career Center are working on their creativity to create iconic logos like those in their digital design and advertising program. Our Aaron Lish is live at the center, and Aaron, what are these kids learning to get them classroom to career ready?
Well, you know, they're using their artistic talents, each student here making their own little placement here and really showing their personalities here. They're getting this hands-on experience. You can see all the way over there, making all of these different designs for t-shirts, logos, advertising, and promotional ideas. And while they're doing, they're building portfolios, and they're actually doing design competitions in the process. They use a variety of visual art techniques, and they use state-of-the-art computer software. Students actually earn college credit through IB Tech, saving more than $800. And instructors and students say with this knowledge and experience from this program, it's setting them up for a bright future.
This is a fabulous opportunity for all of the kids at J. Everett Light Career Center to be able to have that foot ahead of all of their competition, whether it's in the job field or at college.
This will help me make money since I'll be able to sell my designs. And it'll definitely help for college to pay for it.
What's neat? So careers in this field include graphic designer, illustrator, advertiser, web designer, and they actually have guest speakers from the industry come to talk with those students to help them with their career paths. And what's neat is they aren't only doing this for themselves or for a grade, but they actually have clients come in here, so they're getting that real experience and they can say what they're doing to their future career and those employers out there, showing them that they are ahead of the game. And we're going to have a little bit more from that student you just heard in the next half hour, but for now, back to you in the studio.
Erin, thank you. If you're looking to learn more about these career programs or other job opportunities in Central Indiana, our Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page is a big help. That's where you can find posts from prospective companies looking for new employees and all of our other Hiring Hoosiers stories. That is all just a click away for you on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. Taking a turn now, this morning, 3 people are still recovering in the hospital after a shooting outside of a Northeast Side bar just before closing time. Metro Police say it happened outside of Kip's Pub around 2:30 Sunday morning. The bar is located at the corner of 96th and Allisonville Road. Police found all 3 shooting victims in the parking lot outside. The shooting left behind bullet holes and shattered glass of the window bars. One of the victims is critically injured, but police say that person is expected to survive. Investigators believe they do know who the suspect is in this case, but they are still sorting out details, including what led up to the shooting. And we are learning more this morning about a SWAT situation that unfolded on Saturday. A man is in custody this morning after firing shots at IMPD officers. Police were called out to East Lexington near Laurel Street and Fountain Square. When officers arrived on scene, the man inside the home began firing toward responding officers. The SWAT team was called in and was on scene for hours. Finally, the suspect surrendered and was taken into custody. Police are still investigating why that man started shooting in the first place. And police are looking for a suspect in a drive-by shooting that happened Saturday morning near a busy intersection on the north side. It happened near 22nd in Pennsylvania. Police say the shooter fired at least 10 rounds into a vehicle. As of this morning, we know a man was critically injured and is being treated at a local hospital. Also this morning, we've learned a shooting that left 2 children injured on Friday night was an accident. The victims, ages 2 and 5, are in stable condition and expected to recover. This morning, questions remain, however, about how the children were shot inside the home on North Colorado Avenue. Police say a 3rd child may have been there at the time of the shooting, as also adults were present. The Department of Child Services is also investigating. The Indianapolis Colts opened the season with a heartbreaker. The boys in blue mounted a furious comeback, but in the end, they came up just short. It was a slow start for the Colts offense against the Los Angeles Chargers as the team found themselves trailing 17-6 at halftime. The offense then turned things around in the second half, capped off by T.Y. Hilton catching a touchdown pass with just 47 seconds left in the game to tie things up. Unfortunately, though, the Chargers were able to score a touchdown in overtime to secure the victory. Indianapolis will now regroup as they prepare for a road game against the Titans on Sunday. Next weekend, athletes looking to take home the state title in several Special Olympics events will be back competing in Indianapolis. Over the weekend, the competitions got started. We caught up with athletes at Brebeuf Jesuit. There were cornhole, volleyball, flag football, distance running, and walking events. And all 3,500 competitors are taking part in 8 different sports over the next 3 weekends. More than 500 students volunteered to make it all possible. The athletes come from all over the state with the goal of taking home the state title.
I love Special Olympics so much because it gives me the chance to make new friends, and it gives me the chance to play sports, which I never got to play in high school.
We certainly are competitive. Our athletes are competitive. We keep score. We want to determine who are the state champions. But at the end of the day, we're just enjoying each other's company and just coming together as a big family just to celebrate Special Olympics and what we're all about.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Special Olympics in Indiana. Leaders say seeing a record number of athletes is exciting, knowing they are connecting them with opportunities and experiences they otherwise would not have. Looks like a fun time time out there, Todd, and they had great weather for all those events. And next weekend for more events, it looks like they'll have good weather too.
Yeah, it does. Next weekend looks to be pretty nice. In between then and now, we do have some summertime warmth heading your way. This morning's commute should be a nice one for you with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be right in the mid-60s for most of you. I know there's some locations up to the north where temperatures are a little bit cooler here this morning, but as you head home from work, we're talking about a temperature of 83 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds and just the chance of a stray shower. So as you look at the satellite radar picture right now, you notice the clouds obviously from Indianapolis to the south and off towards the west. So that's why we'll just call it partly cloudy. But the last few frames here, you do notice a few spot showers starting to sneak into northern Indiana. And there are more showers back off to our west. And these are going to be moving right around this area of high pressure to the north. So I think this high blocks the showers from Indianapolis southward, but there will be the chance of a few showers north of Indianapolis throughout the day today. If you do see them, though, they'll be very quick and they'll be very light. So do not cancel any outdoor plans. Otherwise, a mixture of sun and clouds today. About 80 degrees your high temperature in Kokomo, 84 in Greenwood, 85 the high today in Bloomington. Tomorrow, potentially 90 degrees. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Keeping skilled workers on the job here in central Indiana. Just ahead in Hiring Hoosiers, how one local organization is working to keep employees on the job during the opioid epidemic. And it was a stunning announcement. Taliban leaders invited to the United States to negotiate peace in Afghanistan. But just ahead, the reason that possible peace deal fell through.
You pick the perfect match that will set them up for success.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is connecting you and your family with jobs. We're also exploring the barriers faced by employees and companies when it comes to retaining workers. Not only do hundreds of Hoosiers die from an overdose every year, opioid misuse has a staggering $1.5 billion direct impact on the state's annual economy. Amanda Starantino shows us a statewide initiative to combat the addiction crisis from within the workplace by starting with employers.
There's high demand for Hoosiers in the construction industry, and it pays well, but it can also be dangerous if workers are not alert and healthy. That's why Charles C. Brandt Construction conducts weekly drug tests before sending crews into the field.
And our goal is our employees go home every day the way that they came, and somebody that has a drug problem working next to someone that doesn't, we're putting that person that doesn't at risk. And we want to try and minimize those risks all that we can.
Jack Lautenschlager is the Chief Operating Officer at Charles Brandt Construction. The company values its employees and wants to keep them on board and safe.
We've had people that have failed drug tests that we've worked through with counseling and gotten them back to where they're full employees now and there's no issues.
Charles Brandt and other companies have learned how to help employees through those issues thanks to opioid strategy sessions hosted by the Indiana Wellness Council and the Indiana Chamber of Commerce.
We want to make sure that employers have a specific safe space where they can ask questions, they can engage in dialogue, they can learn about things that are very unique to their conversations and their interventions. You know, if you're a family doing an intervention for an individual that you care about, you don't have to worry about the Americans with Disabilities Act, but our employers do.
At the free workshops, companies connect with local treatment providers, learn the steps to walk through those difficult conversations with employees, and learn to maintain a balance between compliance and compassion.
1 out of every 5 individuals who self-identifies as needing and desiring treatment doesn't enter into treatment because they believe it might have a negative impact on their job. But the reality is most employers are ready and able to assist.
The Chamber says focusing on addiction recovery can help maintain a healthy workforce across the state by connecting people who might be struggling with businesses that need help filling positions.
Right now, we know that over 50% of employers have had a position open for over a year that they haven't been able to fill. Also, 41% of people are unemployed and actively looking for work and looking for an employer that will provide them with support and to get into recovery. And that ability to connect to somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 19,000 people per year is something that can help an employer with the talent struggles that they're feeling right now.
It's a value instilled in the work at Charles Brandt Construction that keeps Hoosier families working.
I believe everyone makes mistakes, and we all need the opportunity to get a second chance. So we're big on second chances. So we try and work hard with the employee if we know there's an issue.
15 more opioid strategy sessions will be held across the state this fall through early 2020. For more information about the events and to get some tools to use in your workplace, you can head on over to hiringhoosiers.com and click on this story. At 6:17 this morning, we're learning more about the canceled meeting between the White House and Taliban leaders. In a surprise series of tweets Saturday evening, President Trump said he called off a secret meeting with the Taliban at Camp David that could have potentially led to an end to the 18-year war with Afghanistan. The president said he canceled the event after the September 5th attack in Kabul that killed 12 people, including a U.S. service member. An attack the Taliban took credit for. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said after that attack, the president decided he won't work with someone who cannot deliver on their commitments.
A deal, an agreement is just a piece of paper. We have to actually see that change in behavior.
It is unclear how this breakdown in the peace talks will affect the president's promise to draw down troop numbers in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, one official in Kabul told us the level of violence already on the rise there is now likely to increase dramatically. This morning, the recovery process from Hurricane Dorian is just beginning in the Bahamas. As of this morning, the death toll now stands at 45. Officials say that number will likely rise as hundreds still remain missing. Volunteers with search dogs continue to scour neighborhoods flattened by Hurricane Dorian. About 70,000 people are now homeless after the storm on the two northern islands. Cruise ships arrived in the U.S. over the weekend, bringing evacuees from the Bahamas. We do want to get a check at our weather now with meteorologist Todd Claus. And Todd, you said we are going to be seeing this graphic a lot in the near future.
Yeah, you know, you have to always put it into perspective. We've had some cooler days here, so you think fall's in the air, and of course, they're selling all things fall in the stores right now. But the average high is still 80 degrees this time of year. Well, today we're up to 83, but that number probably goes up close to 90 for the day tomorrow. So we're going to be about 10 degrees above average as we go into the next few days. In fact, this entire week is going to be a very summer-like feel with some higher humidity and some storm chances as well. Outside right now, there was the view to the north, and temperatures range from 60 degrees in Bloomington to 56 in Kokomo. 63 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. So there are some cooler spots to the north, but you do notice the clouds are starting to make their way into the area. And with these clouds coming in, kind of acts like a blanket. That's going to prevent our temperatures from dropping off much more here throughout the course of the morning. And there's a few spotty showers trying to sneak into northern locales. So back off to our west, you notice the showers. They're all very spotty. They're all very light, but their eastward trek will continue here throughout the course of the morning hours. So I wouldn't be shocked this morning if a couple of you in northern locations see a spot shower, but high pressure is in control down to our south, and that's going to keep the shower chance, I think, confined to northern Indiana. From Indianapolis to the south, you should be just fine. So here are those shower chances as we head in towards the tail end of the morning commute. Northern locations, a spot shower or two will be possible. And then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, you notice it's very, very quiet all across the area, and it's just a mixture of sun and clouds. So anything you have going on outdoors for the day today, you'll be in great shape with the temperatures that will climb through the 60s this morning into the low 70s already by 11 a.m. Then we're into the mid to upper 70s throughout the early afternoon hours, and then high temperatures later on this afternoon will top off in the low 80s. So it's a warmer day for us from start to finish, and that trend will continue overnight. Instead of talking about temperatures in the 50s tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about temperatures that'll be in the mid to upper 60s. And with that warmer start will come a warmer finish for our Tuesday. Already by tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Then we'll continue to climb all the way up into the low 90s for some of you. And even tomorrow by 6 p.m., we're talking about temperatures that are still hovering right around the 90-degree mark from Bedford up through Fishers into the Lafayette area, 88 degrees, a little cooler off towards the east. So tomorrow's probably the warmest day of the week, and then temperatures will just slightly cool off a little bit on Wednesday, and that's due to the chance of some spotty storms that'll be around throughout the day on Wednesday. It's not a great chance for rain on Wednesday, but there will be some showers around as a little disturbance starts to make its way through. But it's really not until Friday that we bring in the better chance of storms for you with a cold front that will come through, and it's that cold front that'll cool us off from this summertime heat and bring in some seasonable seasonable conditions for the weekend, but most importantly, it looks like at least for the weekend at this point, it's nice and quiet for us across the area with skies, Meredith, that'll be mostly sunny.
Todd, thank you. Here is a live look from our INDOT traffic camera this morning. We are taking a look at I-465 at Ditch Road. You can see traffic starting to build up in this area as it is a popular route to get to and from home in the morning. So we just want you to be aware that traffic is starting to get heavy in that area. Week 1 of the NFL season was filled with some bold-fashioned statements, but what was on one player's wrist that had the internet talking? We've got that answer coming up after the break.
At Ross, yes for less.
Before you head out the door, it is time for the Trending 6. These are some of the stories everyone is sharing online and you'll want to know about. Kevin Harvick got the chance to kiss the bricks for the second time of his career. Harvick led the field to the green flag on Sunday, and everyone spent much of the race looking at the back of his car. Several of NASCAR's top stars would not make it to the end of the race. Harvick ended up leading 118 of 160 laps, earning the second victory of his career at IMS. The NASCAR playoffs start this weekend in Las Vegas. The season is now over for the Indiana Fever, but they closed things out with a victory on Sunday. There was plenty of excitement as Kelsey Mitchell broke the team record for points in a game by scoring 38. She also broke the WNBA league record for three-pointers made in a game, hitting 9 of those. Way to go. And come take a look at this lighthearted moment during Saturday's game between the Braves and the Nationals. Braves player Freddie Freeman was out at second base and then reached up and playfully swatted the ball away from Asdrubal Cabrera. As you can see, Cabrera gets him right back with a little hit on the head. The Cleveland Browns Stadium is nicknamed the Factory of Sadness for a reason. Browns fans got the misery started early at this tailgate this year. Just watch the guy in the background of this News Live shot on Sunday morning. He took quite the tumble there. Well, thankfully, we can report while his pride was certainly hurt, he was just fine. And you know the NFL season is here when we see our first Cam Newton pregame outfit of the year. Take a look at this bold look at the Carolina Panthers quarterback decided to sport on the way into the stadium. As you can see, he has a suit with shorts and a hat that looks like it has barbed wire on it. The look didn't seem to help him, though, as the Panthers lost to the Rams. A lot of people with some funny commentary on that look on Twitter this morning. And finally, here's perhaps the most ridiculous thing we saw this first NFL Sunday of the season. That is Cleveland Browns' new wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., and take a close look at his wrist. He is actually wearing a watch during the game. And oh, no, that's not just any watch, Todd. That is a Richard Mille watch, which retails for about $350,000. Yeah, the price of a lovely 4-bedroom home here in central Indiana.
Right. And he's running the risk of it breaking during a football game.
Yeah, wow. Can't say I would ever wear jewels with quite that price tag out on the football field.
He's also the guy that proposed to the kicking net that the kickers kick into on the side of the game. So
you know what?
Take it as it is.
They're here to play the sport. They're also here to entertain. So there you go. All
right, outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 50s and 60s. A comfortable morning for us. It's a quiet morning as well with partly cloudy skies. 74, though, by the noon hour with a mixture of sun and clouds. Highs today will be topping off in the low to mid-80s. We'll talk more about the weather, have your news headlines, and a look at traffic coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And Elder Law help you get your ducks in a row.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Here we go again. Your morning commute will be put to the test if you typically travel on the southeast side. We're working for you this morning with the detours you need to know about. Plus,
my concern is that someone's going to end up getting hurt. There's going to be an accident here when the road gets finished, and it's going to be in much better condition than it is now.
a Northside man says he's worried about his neighbors and them getting hurt as they leave their subdivision. Working for you, we're taking his concerns straight to city officials. And getting your kids a jump start on their future career. Just ahead in hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career, the program helping students launch a design and advertising career. It is 6:31 here on your Monday morning. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Meredith Barrett. Lauren Casey has the morning off. And meteorologist Todd Clausen is here. And Todd, I know a lot of people are anticipating that fall-like weather. I saw people online this weekend saying they wanted to get out to those pumpkin patches. they're gonna need to pump the brakes.
Yeah, well, you can go to them, but
don't wear your fall flannel.
Yeah, you're not going to be wearing the flannel or the jacket because temperatures are going to be more summer-like this entire week across the area. So here's a live look outside right now. Sunrise not until well after 7 o'clock. So unfortunately, it's still a dark picture for you, but you can just see the skies starting to brighten a little bit, and there's a little more in the way of cloud cover out there this morning, especially as you work your way off towards the west of Indianapolis. Skies are a little clearer still to the east, and we're keeping an eye on a few showers that are making their way out of the Chicagoland area and into northern Indiana. So if you live north of Indianapolis, don't be shocked if you see a quick passing sprinkle here this morning. It'd be very quick. It would be very light. The better chance of the showers will just be in northern locations. In fact, from Indy to the south, they think we're completely dry here throughout the day today. So overall, it's a good morning commute for you here and the start to your day, as skies will be partly cloudy. Your 10 a.m. temperature 68 degrees. Your noontime temperature 75. We're into the 80s though later on this afternoon, and potentially the 90s by tomorrow. More on that, Meredith, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We want to take a live look right now at our Traffic Now camera. This is a look at I-465 at West 10th Street. You can see traffic moving along just fine in that area. That is not going to be the case, though, in other areas, especially if you use I-465 on the southeast side as part of your commute. We've been warning you about this for days, and it's now here. I-465 and the southbound and westbound lanes are closed. The closure started Friday night and will last for about 2 weeks. We find our Alyssa Donovan live there this morning along the interstate. Alyssa, you've told us those workers have been out there chugging along, but what do drivers need to know?
That's right. The workers are out here. They've been here as long as we have this morning, so that's the good news. The work is in progress, but the most important part for drivers to know is you are going to need some patience this morning. Those detour routes are expected to be busy. That's what INDOT says. Now, this closure stretches from I-65 to I-70 on the southeast side. It's the same stretch where northbound and eastbound lanes were closed last month. Like the last closure, crews will be working on pavement restoration and bridge rehab. INDOT will also do maintenance, replacing signs and repairing guardrails. INDOT is anticipating delays to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour for drivers who use 465 between I-69 and I-70 during their morning commute, so just be aware of that. There are some detours we have to tell you about. East-west local detour routes include Southport, Thompson, Raymond, English Avenue, Brookville Road, and Washington Street. North-south drivers can take Midhofer, Post, and Franklin Road, Shadeland Avenue, and Sherman Drive. And I'm actually right here by Sherman Drive this morning. We were out here on Friday morning as well before the closure, and I have to say it wasn't nearly as busy as what we're seeing this morning. It doesn't look too bad right now, but we have seen a significant increase in traffic on this detour road. So that's what drivers can expect this morning on all of those detours across the area as they head out this morning. So definitely give yourself a little bit of extra time. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. We are hearing concerns about speeding traffic in a North Side neighborhood, and RTV6 is working to get answers. Ryan Phillips lives near 96th Street off Ditch Road. There's a roundabout at the intersection. Phillips says traffic coming south off the roundabout goes too fast. Ditch Road is currently under construction and closed right now, but he worries that once the work is done, traffic will be worse and something bad could happen.
Someone's going to get hurt. There's going to be an accident, whether it's a kid on a bicycle, whether it's an adult with her children trying to get to daycare.
Phillips says he wants something to slow traffic on Ditch Road down. A spokeswoman for the Department of Public Works told us we should reach out to Metro Police. They told us extra patrols would be added to the area by the department's traffic branch. Just 1 week after Indigo's Red Line service started picking up passengers, a station is out of service thanks to damage caused by a drunk driver. Police say the driver crashed his car into the station at South Shelby Street and East Hannah Avenue early Saturday morning. The driver of the car is expected to recover. Police say that person will face charges of operating a vehicle while intoxicated once they're released from the hospital. Indigo says the crash caused damage to technology and signage, but not to the structure itself. Red Line buses will continue to pick up riders in an area next to the station while repairs are made. At 6:36 this morning, 3 people are still in the hospital after a shooting outside of a Northeast Side bar just before closing time. Metro Police say it happened outside of Kip's Pub around 2:30 Sunday morning. The bar is at the corner of 96th and Allisonville Road. Police found all 3 shooting victims in the parking lot outside. One of the victims is critically injured, but police say that person is expected to survive. Investigators believe they know who the suspect is in this case, and they are still working to figure out the details, including what led to the shooting. Also this morning, we are learning more about a SWAT situation that unfolded on Saturday. Police were called out to East Lexington near Laurel Street and Fountain Square. When officers arrived on scene, the man inside the home began firing toward responding officers. The SWAT unit was called in and was on scene for hours. Finally, the suspect surrendered and was taken into custody. Police are still investigating why the man started shooting. Also today, police are looking for the suspect in a drive-by shooting that happened Saturday morning near 22nd in Pennsylvania on the north side. Police say the shooter fired at least 10 rounds into a vehicle. Right now, we know a man was critically injured and is being treated at a hospital. Trial is scheduled to begin today for a man from Hendricks County charged with killing a 4-year-old boy. Michael Atkinson of Danville is charged with murder, neglect of a dependent resulting in death, and aggravated battery. The victim was the 4-year-old son of Atkinson's girlfriend, who was not charged in the case. Danville police say the child was found unconscious in a home in November of 2017. The child was rushed to Riley Hospital for Children but died 2 days later. The coroner said the boy's injuries were caused by blunt force trauma. Changes to the state's school safety grant program have some school districts seeing big changes in funding. $19 million in funding will be split between 429 school districts along with some private schools and charter schools. The funding marks a $5 million increase compared to last year. Some districts like Jay Community Schools in Jay County reported seeing their safety funding cut in half. Other districts report their safety funding nearly doubled. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security says schools were asked to prioritize their requests. Hiring Hoosiers now. Think about your favorite brands and designers. They all have logos you recognize. Students at J. Everett Light Career Center are working to make their own artwork become iconic someday. And our Aaron Lish is live inside the Career Center. Aaron, tell us a little more about the program that is getting these students classroom to career ready.
We are in the classroom of digital designs and advertising where students, they're getting creative while building a portfolio for a future career.
I like designing.
Takiana Payne is a digital designs and advertising student.
I liked it so much I came back to this class like a second year as well.
Here at J. Everett Light Career Center, they create corporate logos, posters, layouts, and learn about advertising techniques.
I like drawing, and it seems like a better alternative to a regular art class, and you can make a career out of digital design.
They work with real clients, and their instructor says being innovative is critical for this industry.
Most of my students think that they have to draw well to be a graphic designer, and that's a great misconception. It's that creative mind and being able to come up with a concept that the client needs.
Students can save more than $800 in college tuition through this program, and Payne says she'll take the skills she's learned here to help her further her dreams in graphic design.
This will help me make money since I'll be able to sell my designs, and it definitely help for college to pay for it.
Really impressive work that they're doing here, and as they build those portfolios, they do have speakers coming in from this industry, coming here often and teaching these kids a little bit about different career paths that they can take. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Aaron. The time now is 6:40, getting your Monday going before you head off to work or the kids head off to school. Got to make sure you walk your favorite four-legged friend. And our featured dog of the day today is a Ryder sent in from Allie in Martinsville. Riders all ready to go on their walk here this morning. And we have good weather for any dog walk here across central Indiana this morning or throughout the day as we're giving you green paws from start to finish. A little bit of cloud cover around this morning, but we'll thin that out to partly cloudy skies this afternoon, going from 62 62 degrees at 7 a.m. to about 81 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. And our high today, that should top off probably right around 83 degrees. So a little warmer than it has been. As far as rain chances, we're dry today with the exception of a small shower chance in northern locations. Tomorrow we're dry with highs near 90. Wednesday, there's the chance of a few spotty storms, but it's really Friday we'll target this week for the more widespread showers. And that's because a cold front will come through on Friday afternoon, and that'll bring us a nice weekend ahead. So that's kind of the week at a glance. We'll show you your 7-day planning forecast, though, coming up in just a few minutes. Meredith.
Todd, thank you. More illnesses across the country, and now the first death in Indiana tied to vaping. Up next, what the state health department says you need to know if you use vaping products. And to say he's a long shot might be an understatement, but that isn't deterring one Republican from making a challenge to President Trump. Just ahead, why he says he is making the run against the odds. It's 6:42. We'll be right back. We are following breaking news this morning. We are just getting word of a shooting on the Far East Side that has sent a man to the hospital. Police tell us that man was shot during an attempted robbery at the BP station at Brookville Road and Post Road. We are told the shooting victim is stable, and police say the suspect is on the run. We are still working to learn more about what happened, and once we have that information for you, we will bring it to you live, on air, or on the RTV6 Facebook page and the IndyChannel.com. E-cigarette warnings are becoming more urgent this morning after a death in Indiana linked to vaping. The health department says the person died from a severe lung injury. He or she was older than 18 years old, but that is the only detail being released. The death is the first of its kind in the state and the third in the country. Health officials recommend people stop vaping while they investigate.
Have not been able to determine exactly what the source of this lung injury is.
And we do know that of all the cases that we've investigated, all of them have reported a history of vaping.
Dozens of lung illnesses in Indiana and more than 400 around the country are also under investigation for a possible connection to vaping. This morning, the Trump administration is being blasted by some for being willing to mediate peace talks involving the Taliban. President Trump claims he canceled the secret talks that had been planned for Camp David this week. But members of Congress and others were outraged that the negotiations had been planned in the first place, especially the week of the anniversary of the September 11th attacks. The Taliban controls about half of Afghanistan and has been a long ally of al-Qaeda, which carried out the 9/11 attacks. Trump was also critical of former President Obama when his administration attempted to start peace talks with the Taliban to end the Afghanistan war in 2012. Former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford will launch a long-shot primary challenge for the 2020 Republican nomination. Sanford is the third Republican to challenge President Trump, joining former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld and former Illinois Congressman and talk show host Joe Walsh. Sanford says he thinks the Republican Party has lost its way under Trump, but the road will be tough for Sanford. Republican leaders in several states have said they will cancel primary elections and caucuses out of loyalty to the president. It is 6:47 right now, and we want to get a check at our weather, Todd. It's going to be a warm one out there today.
Yeah, not only today, but even warmer as we work our way throughout the week. So if you're a fan of the summer warmth, well, this is the week for you, as we have potentially maybe 3 days that some of you could run your temperatures all the way up into the 90s. With the heat will come a little bit more in the way of humidity with some small storm chances throughout the week. But otherwise, for the most part, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. Here's a live look outside right now, and this morning we do have some cloud cover around. You can see just a few breaks in the clouds here as you look to the north, but we'll thin these clouds out and it will turn into a pretty decent day. So we still need to grab the sunglasses throughout the course of the morning drive and into the afternoon hours. 63 degrees, that's the current temperature. The dew point's still in the low 60s, so that's very, very comfortable for us here across the area. In some locations where the skies are a little clearer have temperatures in the 50s. So this This is probably the only morning that we'll see our temperatures down into the 50s this entire week as we start to bring in these warmer temperatures across the area. So here are those clouds that are streaming in right now, a little clearer again to the east and southeast. And then there are a few showers that are starting to make their way into portions of northern Indiana. And as we expand out just a little bit, you can see these scattered showers extend all the way back into portions of Illinois. They're essentially moving from west to east across the area. So I would say if you live anywhere from Crawfordsville over towards the Muncie area and points to the north, throughout the morning hours, there will be the chance of just a few quick passing showers. They'll all be very, very light. No threat of any thunderstorms. Obviously, then no threat of any severe weather from Indianapolis to the south. We should remain dry throughout the entire day today with just partly cloudy skies. And once we do get into some sunshine, you'll notice the temperatures today will take a quick jump forward pretty quickly. So we'll go from where we are in the 50s and low 60s this morning to mid 70s by the time we get into the noon hour. And then eventually high temperatures today will be in the low 80s later on this afternoon. Plans on this Monday evening, you're just fine. Sunset is at 8:04. Skies will be partly cloudy to eventually mainly clear later on tonight with temperatures in the 70s. Tomorrow, we crank up the heat. 90 degrees potentially for your high temperature with skies that'll be partly cloudy. It's a dry day tomorrow. You notice the humidity comes up a little bit. So kind of just prepare yourself for the heat. And then as we look ahead even further, Wednesday and Thursday, upper 80s. Some of you probably into the 90s as well. It's just about a 20% chance of a spot storm on Wednesday. Better storm chances on Friday because that's when the cold front's going to make its way across the entire state. And as that front comes through around the showers and storms, but it does usher in what should be nice weather at this point for the upcoming weekend with mostly sunny skies and seasonal temperatures in the low 80s. Meredith.
Todd, thank you. Here's a live look right now from our INDOT traffic camera this morning. I-70 at the North Split. You can see traffic moving along just fine in that area. Just a reminder that I-465 on the southeast side is closed this morning. So if that is part of your commute, you can log on to the IndyChannel.com to check out some alternate routes that you can take. A new study shows a link between cardiovascular disease and exposure to the World Trade Center site after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The study shows repeated exposure to dust during the cleanup led to elevated risk of heart disease that lasted for up to 16 years. Firefighters were studied, but anyone working in the area at that time could also have been impacted. According to the study, first responders working the morning of 9/11 had a higher risk than those who arrived later in the week. A link between toxins at the 9/11 site and certain types of cancers has also been shown in previous studies. Officials are now warning people to avoid all pig-eared dog treats due to the risk of a multi-drug resistant salmonella infection. The CDC says people can get sick from handling the treats. Dogs can also get sick from eating them. In a month, 16 new cases were reported, bringing the total to 143 illnesses in 35 states. No deaths have occurred. Signs of salmonella infection include diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps. In dogs, they could also have the same symptoms, including vomiting, and the dog may appear more tired than usual. It is not the way they wanted to start the season. Next, the Colts show some promise, but come up just a bit short on the road. And Florida Georgia Line playing a big crowd this weekend out at IMS, but it was Metro Police walking away with a potentially life-saving donation from the band. After the break, we'll show you how the band's gift will help serve you in the future.
Working for you.
A tough season opener for the Indianapolis Colts. They came from behind to tie the game with a spectacular catch and run from Jacoby Brissett to T.Y. Hilton to tie the Chargers with just 47 seconds left. But the Colts defense could not stop the Chargers in overtime. LA scored on their first drive to win the game 30-24. Now today, some of the talk is over veteran kicker Adam Vinatieri. He is one of the best to ever play, but the 46-year-old missed 2 field goals and an extra point during regulation. Indianapolis will now regroup as they prepare for a road game against the Titans next Sunday. Florida Georgia Line was again a big part of Brickyard weekend, and while they were in town, they had a gift for the police department. IMPD tweeted this photo thanking the band for their newest canine partner. IMPD says they believe the new canine will be a bomb detection dog. Brian Kelly, one half of Florida Georgia Line, met the dog last year when he was just 10 months old and named him Sarge. He and his wife wanted to adopt Sarge, but they soon realized Sarge had some pretty special talents and would be a strong police dog. He'll now be working for IMPD. Pretty awesome. So usually when our RTV6 reporters are live on location, sending stories back to us in the studio and to you wherever you're watching, we do our best to discourage people from photobombing us, inserting yourselves into our camera shots. But sometimes it still happens, and luckily sometimes it turns out to be pretty funny. For example, this one from Charleston, South Carolina.
I'll tell you, if you're trying to get around Charleston, it's hard to do. It's tough to do, and if you see some water on the road, turn around, try to find another way. But we'll stay here at the Battery and check out some other locations, give you updates as they come in. Reporting live in Charleston, Paul Rivera, WIS News 10.
The dancer there was a man named Joe Grant. Luckily for him, Paul Rivera, the reporter there from WIS in Columbia, South Carolina, was a good sport and even got an interview with him after his photobomb. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
That's some good.
Yeah. Normally you're concerned about people making an obscene gesture or something for you, but doing a backflip.
And he was far enough behind him,
fly.
too. He didn't scare the reporter. And
yes, I've had that happen before. And it's not a good feeling.
It's pretty impressive, though, landing that flip in the wind and the rain there.
Yes, that could have ended up very badly.
Thank goodness that fence was there. All right. Outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 50s and 60s, partly sunny skies. Overall, partly cloudy day today. Just the chance of a stray shower in northern locations here this morning. It would be very light. Otherwise, a high of 83 today, but going up to 90 tomorrow, and then we keep it around 90 all the way through Thursday.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. We hope you have a great Monday. We'll see you back here in a bit.